nestled between rolling hills and tranquil farmlands, there lived a boy named Tommy Reed. At 12 years old, he was as skinny as a stick. His sun-browned skin contrasted against a mop of unruly brown hair that flopped over his forehead. The son of a sawmill worker and a laundrywoman, Tommy's family had little money. Every penny they earned spent on food and keeping a roof over their heads. Yet, Tommy never complained. He was accustomed to patching old clothes, walking to school in worn-out shoes, and fixing broken toys rather than buying new ones. But there was one dream, a bright spark in his heart that he clung to. He wanted a bicycle. Not just any bicycle, but the dazzling red Thunderbolt 3000 that gleamed in the window of Mr. Harris's hardware store. Its silver handlebars, a shiny bell that seemed to tinkle with joy, and tires that looked fast enough to chase the wind captivated Tommy every day after school. He would stop, press his face against the cool glass, and gaze longingly. Mr. Harris, with his warm smile, would often see him and say, "Still admiring the Thunderbolt, huh, Tommy?" Tommy would grin shyly, replying, "Someday, sir. Someday I'll buy it." Mr. Harris always nodded with encouragement. "That's the spirit, boy. Save up, work hard. Good things come that way." The problem, however, was that the bicycle cost $35, a fortune to Tommy, who had no allowance and no wealthy relatives. That night, lying on his small bed under a thin blanket, he resolved to make it happen. "I'll buy it, no matter how long it takes," he whispered to himself. The next morning, Tommy rose before dawn, his heart pounding with determination. He began looking for work, though the path was rocky. In a town where even adults struggled to find jobs, kids like him often went unnoticed. Yet, with a fire igniting in his chest, Tommy persevered. He started small, carrying groceries for Mrs. Coleman at the market for a mere 10 cents. He mowed lawns, washed windows, and even fed chickens for old Mr. Benson. Every time someone handed him coins, Tommy would dash home, depositing them into a small tin box hidden under his bed. Each clink of metal resonated like a triumphant melody. His parents noticed his industriousness. One evening, his mother smiled and asked, "You've been working so hard, Tommy. What are you saving for?" Tommy hesitated for a moment before proudly declaring, "A bicycle." His father chuckled softly, shaking his head. "A fine dream, son. Just don't forget to dream about school, too." "I won't, Pa. But I'll get that bike. You'll see," Tommy replied with fierce resolve. As summer settled in, the days stretched longer and hotter. Tommy labored harder than ever, helping the milkman deliver bottles at dawn, earning 25 cents a week, picking berries by the roadside to sell for nickels, and gathering scrap metal from the junkyard to sell at the recycling depot. The townsfolk dubbed him Little Hustler, a title he wore with pride. His friends sometimes teased him, asking, "Why work so much, Tommy? You could borrow a bike from us." But Tommy shook his head determinedly. "Nope, I want one that's mine, one I earned." Each night he counted his savings, $10, $15, $20, slowly inching closer to the magical number. However, one fateful afternoon, disaster struck. While mowing a lawn for Mrs. Parker, the mower jammed, tearing his shirt sleeve. With a disgruntled frown, Mrs. Parker said, "Sorry, Tommy, my son's coming back from college. He'll do it from now on." Just like that, one job vanished. Then the milkman hurt his back, halting deliveries, and the junkyard closed for repairs. For 2 painful weeks, Tommy found himself without a single job. As he sat by his window at night, gazing at the stars, he felt his dreams slipping away. "Maybe it's too much," he thought sadly. "Maybe Pa was right. Maybe I should stop." But one Sunday morning, as Tommy strolled downtown, he spotted an old man sitting on a bench near the church, wearing a dusty hat and possessing kind eyes. By his feet lay a broken bicycle, rusted, missing a pedal, and with a flat tire. Intrigued, Tommy couldn't help but stare. The man noticed him and asked, "You like bikes, son?" Tommy nodded, explaining, "Sure do, sir. Been saving up to buy one." The man smiled knowingly. You remind me of myself at your age. Tell you what, if you help me fix this old thing, I'll give you $1. $1? That was more than Tommy usually earned in a day. He eagerly set to work, tightening bolts, applying oil to the chain, and scrubbing away rust. The man watched quietly, offering advice when needed. When they finished, the old man stood, stretched, and said, "Well done. Runs smoother than I expected." He handed Tommy $1, then added, "You've got skill, boy. Ever think of fixing bikes for others? There's money in that." Tommy blinked in surprise. "You think I could?" The man grinned. "You've got steady hands. Try it." That night, Tommy lay awake, thoughts swirling around the stranger's words. The next morning, he visited the junkyard and asked if he could take old bicycle parts. The owner, a kind man named Joe, shrugged. "Sure, kid. Take whatever's trash to us." For the entire day, Tommy sorted through broken frames, rusted chains, and dented rims. Armed with his modest collection of tools and the wisdom from the old man, he repaired what he could. A week later, he had 2 functioning bicycles, old but rideable. He crafted a sign for his house: "Bicycle repairs, cheap and fast." At first, only one boy came by, bringing a flat tire, but as word spread, kids and adults began to seek him out for small repairs. Coins started flowing in again, and his tin box grew heavier with every nickel and dime. His father was astonished. "Well, my son's running a business." Tommy grinned. "Guess so, Pa." He worked every moment he could, even after school, not wasting a single penny. Finally, one late August evening, he opened his tin box to count. $35.20. He did it. Staring at the coins in disbelief, he felt a surge of triumph. After months of hard work, he finally had enough. The next morning, Tommy sprinted to Mr. Harris's hardware store, heart pounding like a drum. The red Thunderbolt still gleamed in the window, beckoning him. He stepped inside, clutching his money tightly. "Mr. Harris," he breathlessly declared, "I'm here to buy the Thunderbolt." Mr. Harris's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "All of it? You've got the money?" Tommy nodded, pouring coins and bills onto the counter. Mr. Harris counted slowly, then smiled wide. "Well, you really did it, Tommy. You earned it fair and square." With care, he lifted the bicycle from the display and handed it over, the chrome gleaming and the bell ringing sweetly. Tommy held it as if it were made of gold. "Thank you, sir." Mr. Harris patted his shoulder. "No, son, thank you for reminding me what hard work looks like." That afternoon, the whole neighborhood gathered to watch as Tommy rolled out on his new bicycle. Kids cheered, and his parents beamed with pride. His mother wiped away a tear, whispering, "You really did it, Tommy." His father's voice was soft. "Proud of you, son. Not for the bulk, but for the man you're becoming." With a smile, Tommy hopped on and pedaled down the dirt road, feeling the wind rush past his face, cool and liberating. Each push of the pedal carried memories of hot days, scraped knuckles, lost jobs, and endless saving. But none of it mattered now. He had earned every spin of those wheels. Years flew by. Tommy grew up, finished school, and eventually opened his own small bicycle shop in town, Tommy's Wheels. The red Thunderbolt hung proudly on the wall, forever gleaming. Whenever kids came in to gaze at it, Tommy would smile and say, "That was my first bike. Bought it when I was 12. Worked all summer for it." Their eyes would widen, filled with wonder as they asked, "Really? How'd you do it?" Tommy would share his story about saving, working, fixing, and never giving up. Whenever a poor child arrived, counting pennies, Tommy would quietly lower the price or repair their old bike for free. He remembered what it felt like to dream and wait. To be that poor boy with dusty shoes staring through the shop window at a red bicycle. One autumn evening, as Tommy was closing his shop, a familiar figure walked in. The old man from the park, the one who had given him $1 and recognized his skill. "Sir," Tommy exclaimed, surprise washing over him, "I never forgot you." The man smiled warmly. "Looks like you made good use of that advice." Tommy chuckled softly. You changed my life that day." The man looked around the shop, his eyes shining with pride. "No, son, you changed your own life. I just reminded you what you already had inside." They shook hands firmly, and the man left with a gentle nod. Tommy turned off the lights, staring at his old red Thunderbolt on the wall. A smile crept onto his face as he whispered, "Still riding, old friend." Then, locking up, he hopped on his newer bike and pedaled home through the golden sunset, wind in his hair and heart brimming with gratitude. Years later, a young boy, Tommy's son, dashed into the shop, crumpled dollars clutched in his hand. "Dad, I've been saving. I want to buy my own bike." Tommy knelt beside him, pride swelling in his chest. "That's my boy. You know, saving makes it mean something. I'll help you fix one up." As father and son worked together, tightening bolts, oiling chains, and polishing frames, the same spark ignited within the young boy's heart that once lit Tommy's. Because dreams, when earned with sweat and patience, never die. They just keep rolling, like wheels on an open road.